Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. 32 teams, 32 days, and today we are talking about the Indianapolis Colts as they finally get quarterback Andrew Luck back into the fold. That's bad news for me as I'm a Titans fan, but good news for the Indianapolis Colts. But can he bring them all the way back to the playoffs? No one's thinking Super Bowl, but can they get back to the playoffs? You'll be surprised by my answer. We're going to discuss this team today, look at this team's strengths, look at this team's weaknesses, give you my statistical projections for some offensive players, and then give you some bold predictions, and then give you my official win-loss prediction for the Indianapolis Colts. So let's start by talking about their strengths, and I'm starting with the quarterback position because I believe Andrew Luck is back. From everything that I can see, you know, I've been skeptical throughout this Andrew Luck recovery process. Will he ever be what he once was? But everything I'm seeing in preseason, everything I'm seeing in training camp, yeah, he pretty much is the Andrew Luck he was. Now, I haven't seen the deep accuracy. I haven't seen enough of a sample size. What I have seen, I've liked, but definitely within the short to intermediate range. He's still reading defense. He still knows what he's doing. And we know, guys, Andrew Luck is really smart. Now, sometimes he's too smart. He throws a lot of interceptions, way too many for what he should be doing. But he throws a lot of touchdowns as well. He reads things extremely well, and he's clutch. The guy knows how to win games. He came into this league with a horrible Colts team and went to the playoffs his first damn try. He knows how to win. He's clutch. He gets it done. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. He's definitely a strength for this football team and definitely the face for this football team. We saw what the Colts did without him last season. Oh yeah, diddly poo, as a former Colts coach would have said. Okay, so with that, so we move on to the next strength for this football team. And the problem is, the next strength isn't really very good, but I decided to throw it anyway, and that is their defensive line. Now, I do think it can be pretty good. I just don't think it's going to be a top 10 unit in the NFL, but I think it will be a strength for this football team, so I will list it as a strength. The defensive line is another strength for this football team. Let's start by looking at Jabal Sheard, the former New England Patriot and Cleveland Brown. The Colts brought him in. He did well last season. I'm expecting more of the same from him. Again, not a huge sack guy, not a prolific sack guy, but a consistent guy, especially against the run. He sets that edge. I'm expecting more of the same from him in terms of doing that. Look at the other players for this defensive line. You also have Margus Hunt, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, he's come into this large role and actually done a pretty good job. I'm expecting more of the same from him now that he's in this Colts jersey. John Simon, he's a guy that's actually been doing well for the Colts as well. And Terrell Bastion, formerly out of Ohio, I thought he had a decent rookie year in his 2017 campaign. I'm expecting him to take a step forward and to really hopefully take the starting role in this Indianapolis Colts team and really succeed, because they don't really have that huge sack guy, but Terrell Bastion, this athletic freak formerly out of Ohio, I think he could be that guy. I'm intrigued by him on the outside. Look at the interior defenders. How about Al Woods, the former Tennessee Titan, who came into the Colts last season and did really, really well. Made the Colts not miss David Perry at all. He really succeeded at that nose tackle position. I don't know why he didn't play like this for us, but he's playing like that for y'all. Great for the Indianapolis Colts for getting that out of him. Denico Autry, he's another guy on this offensive line, and I'm intrigued by two guys, Raheem Nunez-Roches, who played well in Sparks for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see what he can do in terms of being on the Indianapolis Colts. And Hassan Ridgeway, formerly out of Texas. The Colts took him in the 2017 NFL Draft. If he can take another step forward, this is another guy to look at. So I'm intrigued, and I like the defensive line in Indianapolis. But with that said, we do have certain weaknesses for this football team, and let us start with the linebackers, who currently to me are the huge glaring weakness for this football team. Okay, so we start with the inside linebackers. Antonio Morrison, who was expected to start and to hopefully do well. I really wasn't impressed with him last season. I liked the draft pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, but he hasn't lived up to my expectations out of Florida. I thought it was going to be more than what he's been. We'll see this upcoming season. They sound encouraged by him. I'm not quite on the same page. Anthony Walker, formerly out of Northwestern, I'm not in love with him. Jeremiah George, same thing. They're just a bunch of meh guys, not really impact guys. No one's going to contend for a Pro Bowl at this position. Inside linebackers, big problem to me for this Indianapolis Colts football team. Next weakness, this may surprise you or some of you, it's wide receivers. Now, T.Y. Hilton is here, okay? And T.Y. Hilton, the Andrew Luck combination, that's a dangerous combination. That's a great combination. But we saw T.Y. Hilton without Andrew Luck last year, and he kind of regressed to the mean. He was still, I would say, a #1 wide receiver, but he really wasn't very impressive, right? Outside of him, now we got problems. Ryan Grant, formerly of the Washington Redskins. This guy is the #2 wide receiver in Indianapolis. Now, I can't believe this. But, you know, apparently he's been doing well in training camp. I'm not really buying it. I think he's doing well for this depth chart, but I think he'd still be 4th on the Washington Redskins depth chart. So this is not good news. Okay, and then outside of him, we really don't have much either. Chester Rogers, he's never taken that step forward that a lot of people have been waiting him to. And that's literally it. I mean, behind that, we just have a bunch of names: Krishan Hogan, KJ Britt, Matt Hazel, who. The wide receiver position right now in Indianapolis is not good. Okay, T.Y. Hilton leading the way, and I'm okay with him. Wide receivers weakness for this Indianapolis Colts football team. So we look at the positions in the middle. Let's move to safety, which I'm very intrigued. So Malik Hooker, who I and a lot of others were huge fans of coming out of college, he dropped in that first round of the 2017 NFL draft. The Colts picked him up. We were very encouraged early. He started showing more signs late. I think he was just giving up, honestly. I think we're really going to see him step up again and be the player we thought he was. Because he really did start early, but I think as the season waned on, it was clear the Colts weren't going to compete. He kind of threw it in. Still struggling against the run. Okay, we saw that with that huge Derrick Henry run on the Monday Night Football game, Tennessee Titans versus Indianapolis Colts last year. But if he can just continue to learn, because that was his big weakness coming out, if he can continue to learn how these running backs flow in the open field, I think he's going to steadily improve there, but expect some more struggles there. But in coverage, he should still be fine. It should be good there. And Clayton Gathers is next to him. You know, we get what he is at this point. He doesn't have much improving left to do, but he's a decent, strong safety. I'm okay with him. I really wanted to just discuss Malik Hooker there. Running back, I considered weakness, but I was actually kind of encouraged with Marlon Mack last year. Again, I think he was one of those players that kind of threw it in. And Jim Irsay's talking about 1,500 yards. I'm going to say no to that. But I think he can do something, Marlon Mack. And also, they will get Robert Turbin, who was busted for PEDs. Of course, this guy's on PEDs. Have you seen his arms? I never knew Robert Turbin was on PEDs. They're going to get him back after his 4-game suspension. I think the running backs could be okay. Okay, I didn't list it as a weakness. I could have easily. But I think Marlon Mack is going to prove to be a good weapon. I liked him coming out of college, so I'll give you guys a very small break there. And then the cornerback position, I could have listed as a weakness as well, but Quincy Wilson I like, and I've liked him a lot ever since he came out of Florida. I think he was the better of he and Vernon Hargreaves. I think we're seeing that now. I'm expecting more really good play from Quincy Wilson and him to solidify himself as the #1 cornerback on this Indianapolis Colts roster. So with that said, we move on to my statistical projections for the Indianapolis Colts, and let us start with quarterback Andrew Luck. 4,300 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and a 94.0 passer rating. This is about what he's done in his NFL career, and I feel it's going to be like another stand of the year. I don't think the interceptions are going to go down. I think they're going to stay up because I don't trust these wide receivers to run the right routes. I don't trust Ryan Grant. I don't trust Chester Rogers. I just don't trust these guys. Okay, so we have problems there. No. Okay, outside of that, we have running back Marlon Mack. I'm going to go 250 carries, 1050 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So I think he will, really solidify himself as a starting running back in this league, as a good starting running back in this league, and someone to be formidable in your fantasy football league. So I actually look to draft him. I actually would. And then wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, 80 catches, 1,250 yards, and 7 touchdowns. The prototypical T.Y. Hilton year, a lot of yards, not many touchdowns. So with that, we move on to my bold predictions for the Indianapolis Colts, and let's start with this. Marlon Mack breaks 1,000 rushing yards. Yes, as I just mentioned, I do have Marlon Mack breaking 1,000 rushing yards, being a little bit of a nuisance in your fantasy football league. So if you can get him at a good draft position, I certainly would. He is someone to definitely grab. Look at my next bold prediction, and that is Eric Ebron. He impresses and he saves his bust label. Now, as far as the Lions are concerned, he'll always be a bust. But in terms of just being a player that came into the league, that was drafted at a certain position and played versus his expectations, I think you're gonna say Eric Ebron was okay after this season. Not maybe deserving of the number 10 pick, but he wasn't a total flat bust. I think he will have a resurgence with Andrew Luck at the helm playing quarterback. I think he will be just fine. And then bold prediction number 3, Andrew Luck returns to the Pro Bowl. Now this may not be very bold to some of you, but it's still quite bold to say a guy that hasn't played in over a year, a guy that we question whether he would ever throw the football again, for him to make the Pro Bowl coming back after only 1 year, I think is bold, and I really couldn't come up with anything else. So there you go. That's bold prediction number 3. Okay, so with that said, we move on to my win-loss prediction for the Indianapolis Colts. And look, man, Andrew Luck's back, and that's great. we got problems. This roster still ain't very good. Now, it's improving, okay? Chris Ballard, he's come in. He's had some decent draft picks. Marlon Mack, Terrell Basham, Malik Hooker. You know, you can see things are starting to progress. Quentin Nelson, he's going to come in and help the offensive line. And Andrew Luck's going to come in and do his thing. But like we saw in years before he was injured, talent ain't there. You know what I mean? Andrew Luck can do a lot, and he did a lot in his rookie season, like I said, to go to the playoffs then. But I don't think the talent's here right now for them to go back to the playoffs right now. Best case scenario, I'll say it's possible if Andrew Luck just comes back those for 40 touchdowns like he did. And I want to say that 2013 NFL season, maybe it was 2014 actually. Maybe, okay, they go 10-6. Worst case scenario, they struggle a bit, but I still think they're going to go at least 7-9 with Andrew Luck if you play 16 games. And my prediction is 8-8. You know what I mean? They're going to win some games. They're going to beat some teams in the North Division. Honestly, I have them sweeping with every team in the division, right? So I have them sweeping with the Titans, Texans, and Jaguars. And they can even really sweep, honestly, one of those teams. It wouldn't surprise me because Andrew Luck has performed very well in this division over the past number of seasons. And they also go up against the AFC East. They face the Jets. They face the Dolphins. They face the Patriots. You know, that's not a bad schedule. And the Patriots, obviously, you don't want to face them. But facing the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins, you're fine with that. Now, I think the Jets, you may lose to the Jets. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you right now, but I think that's not bad. So I think 8-8, I think that's a decent record, a good comeback. Come back next year, get some draft picks in, get some better talent, set some free agents, you'll be back. But when we're talking about trusting Ryan Grant, we're talking about trusting Chester Rogers, and we're talking about trusting these weirdos that we're trusting right now in the wide receiver core, I can't do it. And the defense, it ain't there. The linebackers, Antonio Morrison, they're just not ready. These guys, they're not ready. I just don't see it right now for the Indianapolis Colts in the 2018 season. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Indianapolis Colts. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow to discuss the Chicago Bears, the sleeper in the NFC. Do I agree? We'll find out. This has been MJ, and I'm out. Peace.